Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content. J-Mac, all the years I've been watching football, there has never been a Sunday like that, ever been a Sunday like that. 7 games had winning scores in the last 3 minutes. That's the most in 48 years. And most went the opposite way.
Yeah.
Of how you thought they would end up. That was easily, in my adult life, the weirdest Sunday. Tampa Bay led 23-6 at home with a better quarterback in the fourth quarter and needed a walk-off kick to win over the awful Jets.
Yeah, Falcons every week. Heart attack in the final seconds.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So let's start with the Bears. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson beat the Cowboys. 2 things were abundantly clear. Number one, that Ben Johnson, the coach, and Caleb Williams, the quarterback, had some real harmony. They finally found a rhythm. We've been waiting for that. Couple of great drives. End of the first half, start of the third. 8 different players saw the ball. The screen game was working. Creativity, structure, the run game. In fact, over the course of the game, there were 28 pass attempts. There were 29 rush attempts. This team has tons of offensive talent. Caleb Williams, structure, creativity. Now, Caleb can be more accurate throwing it downfield than he can on a 6-yard out, but it was rhythm. And that's what I said. I don't need to win. Progress, advancement. Can you show me rhythm outside of the first drive? So that was abundantly clear. They found some of that. Imperfect, but they found it. The second thing that is abundantly clear is Mike is gone and Dallas's defense is absolutely atrocious. It is awful. I don't know how Cole Kmet and DJ Moore can get that open in the end zone. I don't know. On third down, they can't get anybody off the field. Matt Eberflus got completely worked by the guy that replaced him, Ben Johnson. Dallas is bad. And so there's 2 things. Dallas made Russell Wilson look like Seahawks Russell Wilson, and Caleb Williams got loose. And again, we said on this show, it's just, you got to get away from the W's. They don't have the Packers talent or Detroit's. They're not going to be the Eagles or the Rams. But let's put it in proper context. You saw something. Like pass, run, screen game. It's not a lack of talent. They got talent. I didn't need a win. Move the football. I didn't see a sack. There were no sacks. It was layered. They were better on third down. And they trick plays. They hit the open guys. Now, I still think Caleb, I don't know if it's mechanics, anxiety, or he's rushing it. He can dirt balls from 5 feet away. It drives Ben Johnson crazy. Coaches design plays, the clever, creative ones. Even their trick play wasn't smooth. It worked. The Cowboys, weren't covering it. But Caleb's got a power arm. He's a remarkable athlete. This is a really smart, structured coach who puts all sorts of creativity in it. And so I got everything. I got Ben's creativity. I got Caleb's horsepower. It worked. At least it worked against Dallas, but that's okay. I had said opening up with Brian Flores and then facing Detroit in Detroit off a blowout loss to Green Bay, that is a tough opening act when you're just learning a new system. It's okay to occasionally get a bad defense. There's about 15 of them in the NFL. But when you get a bad defense, you have to make the most of it. And I thought Chicago at home did. I thought they got momentum. They were creative. And it wasn't perfect. Ben Johnson wears his emotions on his face. You can see when he's upset. But balanced, clever, creative, power running. I liked it. Here was Ben after.
It'll be fun for tonight, and then we're on to the next one. We're behind the 8 ball here. We're 1-2, and we got to get back to 500 here. It's early, and but we got to get the issues fixed. And I thought the guys were committed to that here this week. And we had a good week of preparation, and they came out and they played inspired football today. And so good things happen when you're playing hard, you're playing physical, and you're playing for the guy next to you. And I thought that's what happened here today.
Okay, so Brian Flores, that was tough. And then the ticked off Lions on the road, that was brutal. Awful Dallas, rolled. Okay, now here come the Raiders, a team that's not very good. The quarterback will give you the ball back, and then it's a bye. So we said it was a rough opening act. As you remember, in the preseason now, you don't take a lot of snaps. It was bound. We told you one of our favorite bets that week was Minnesota playing Chicago. Detroit was a rough spot, but they took care of business. They should beat the Raiders, who are trying to find their way. Then they get a bye. It's a little early than you want to buy, but you got the Saints on the schedule. You're going to have the Bengals without Joe Burrow. You've got the awful Giants at home. At Minnesota, we don't know what they are. Pittsburgh at home. There's some wins here. 9-8 is optimistic, but you have to take care of you got to take care of the games you should win. And it was pretty clear yesterday between Caleb and Ben and the playmakers, you got to win that game. And they did. Comfortably. That's progress.
Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. I'm wearing my shirt right here. Been a big day of football. Let's look ahead to Monday night, Detroit versus Baltimore. Listen to these streaks from Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. You can find live odds bets on all of these streaks in the Hard Rock Bet app. Baltimore has covered the spread in 4 straight home games. Lamar has rushed for 58 yards in 5 consecutive Week 3 games. All that info and a whole lot more is a tap away. You can bet it right there on the Hard Rock Bet app. If you haven't tried your first bet on the Hard Rock Bet, there's still time. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet. If it hits, you get not only your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets. You also get profit boosts for every day of Week 3. So if you've already missed Thursdays and you haven't used Sundays, don't miss out. Mondays, you can boost your parlay so it pays extra winnings. Download the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. Make your first deposit.
Okay, in one of the weirdest games ever, the Rams dominate Philadelphia in the first half, and then Nick Sirianni, I've never been the biggest fan, had to go in at halftime and make adjustments, and he did, and the adjustment was just pass the ball to A.J. Brown. So the Rams match up well with Philadelphia. We've seen that the last 2 times they play, except 2 areas. They don't have big physical corners, and A.J. Brown can eat them alive. They didn't draft one. It was a surprise. They should have. The Rams have smaller corners, and they do not match up with A.J. Brown at all. 10 targets, 6 catches, most yards all season. He's just tossing guys like croutons in a salad bowl. The second problem the Rams have, they're not very good at center. They had a backup right guard. Between Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, the Eagles have the best interior D-line. I mean, honestly, by a long shot in the NFL. Well, it's not a position of strength for the Rams. We saw it last year when Jalen Carter blew up the Rams offense in the snow to seal a Philly win. And we saw it yesterday. 2 block kicks. Then on a 4th and 1, the Rams tried to run it and went backwards. So between A.J. Brown manipulating the smaller Ram corners and the Rams' inability to block 2 great interior defensive linemen for Philadelphia, they're not beating this team unless they make a move, in my opinion, at the trade deadline. And I know all of you are saying this morning, hey, Colin, I thought Jalen Hurts wasn't good from the pocket. Well, he had -1 passing yards in the first half. It was embarrassing. And Jalen has these halves where he looks like he does not know what he's doing. But to Nick Sirianni's credit, Sirianni listens to his players and relates to his players, and they went in at half and figured it out. Get the ball to A.J. Brown. So nobody in this league wins as imperfectly as the Eagles. I mean, Sean McVay does not lose 10-point leads. He never loses 26-7. Matt Stafford missed a couple of open receivers, but for Sean McVay to lose a game leading 26-7, it just doesn't happen. Philadelphia's defense is very good, but it was those blocked kicks and the 4th and 1 that was the difference. So between A.J. Brown and the defensive interior line of the Eagles, the Rams do not match up with Philadelphia in those 2 spots. So Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts deserve a ton of credit for the second half. And A.J. Brown, who is an insane talent, there are listen, he matches up well against almost everybody. But against the Rams, I'm surprised it took halftime regrouping to figure it out. They can't stop him. There's nothing they can do. He's a terrible matchup for them, and here's AJ after.
I truly believe, man, we got so many good players on this team, you know, and at times, you know, you can feel like we're being conservative, and I don't think it should be like that, you know. I think it should, you know, let your killers do their thing, you know, and play fast and play aggressive. You know, we have a lot of good players, and I feel like you should just let us go, you know. So, you know, so it shouldn't be like that.
It is. It's going to be like that. I will say, it is the craziest day I've ever seen. I've never seen a game like that. I'm just not going to count that Rams loss on the Blazing Five. It never existed. I'm just not counting it. I don't care. That hurt. It would be nice if in the history of the show I could ever win a game like that. But then again, J-Mac had the Falcons over Carolina. It was 30-0. So, I mean, listen, it was a bad day. But I want to let you listen to the Eagle Radio Network on the block kick that ended up sealing it for the Eagles. Here we go.
They blocked him the last time. The ball is spotted. The kick is away. It's blocked! It's blocked! It's picked up by the Eagles. Running with it is Davis. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! Game over!
I mean, you could say it was bad luck. It wasn't. They did it twice. They blew them up on the 4th and 1. They did it last year in the NFC divisional round. Like, the Rams can't block the Eagles' interior studs. They can't block them. I mean, that 4th and 1 wasn't even close. So hats off to Philadelphia, which, I mean, listen, part of football is finding the liability of the team you face. It took them a half. But the Rams can't block their interior, and they can't cover A.J. Brown. And to the Philly, their credit, they discovered it, leaned into it, and won. J-Mac, that was nuts. What is just a nutty day.
Chaos.
There was
Hey, by the way, not only did I have the Falcons, those losers that you tried to steer me off of, I had the Tennessee Titans who got their doors blown off. However, they have a cornerback who's underutilized and played in Kansas City and was awesome and could match up with A.J. Brown. His name is L'Jarius Sneed. I wonder if you could put in a call to your guy, Les Sneed, with the Rams and say, hey, do you want to kick the tires on him? The Titans aren't going anywhere. I was way wrong about them. I mean, you got to make a move. The Rams have a Super Bowl team. Do you go look for a corner on the market? Remember, last year, Washington got Lattimore from the Saints. They got to the NFC Championship. So I think it's worth making a move. No,
I think the Rams at the trade deadline, they have got to get at least one big physical corner because it was a mismatch. It wasn't like A.J. Brown had separated. He was just bigger and stronger than all the Rams' smaller, talented corners. So it was a surprise the Rams didn't draft a corner. I mean, that was one of their draft needs, and they didn't use any pick in a corner, and it's like, oh, man, this is really showing up. Okay, coming up next, the world's greatest football coach, Jim Harbaugh, pulled it off again, and I want to talk about that next. Of the many amazing moments, it was the Chargers' win over Denver, 23-20. So as the Chiefs were stumbling and bumbling to a win over the New York Giants, Harbaugh and Herbert have officially taken over the AFC West. 3-0, all division wins. And yesterday, the Chargers had every reason to lose. Denver's great pass rush, the Chargers were missing multiple offensive linemen. Khalil Mack still not there. Najee Harris got hurt. They fumbled the opening kickoff in the third. They were less rested because they played on a short week. And yet, Harbaugh and Herbert found a way. Justin Herbert got hammered. He got hit 14 times. That is a most, and the Chargers over the last 20 years have had some bad O-lines. That is the most a Charger quarterback has been hit in 20 years. In fact, Justin Herbert was pressured on 55% of his throws. He threw 49 times. He was pressured on over half the most Justin Herbert's ever been pressured in his career. And yet this kid is extending plays, getting attacked, getting hammered. He leads the NFL right now in 310 yards passing per game, and we're still not sure if Quentin Johnston's any good. And Keenan Allen, who's had 4 major surgeries. I mean, if you don't get Justin Herbert's greatness, you literally do not understand football. There were 7 reasons they should have lost that game, and yet the greatest coach in the history of football, Jim Harbaugh, pulled him through. And if he went to a lab to create a quarterback, it would be Herbert. It's the perfect quarterback for him. Tough, physical, smart, willing to be coached, relentless. There have been great matches in America. Simon and Garfunkel, Jordan and Pippin, Abbott and Costello, Peanut Butter and Jelly, Penn and Teller, Siegfried and Roy. None are better than Herbert and Harbaugh. A love story that's going to keep going for the next decade. There was a dozen reasons they should have lost. Forget 6. And they found a way to win on a day that Justin Herbert had to carry his team. Here's Jim Harbaugh still in awe of it after it was over.
There's almost something about it, man. I mean, it takes that hit. I mean, there's no facial expression that changes. There's no limp. There's no, it doesn't grab any. It's like it didn't even happen. But there's something in his competitive fire. It just motivates him even more. It even takes him to another notch. Whatever fill in the blank is happening. I mean, he's one of one that I've ever seen at the quarterback position.
You can have Simon and Garfunkel. I will take Herbert and Harbaugh. He leads the NFL in wins, in total yards per game, and for the last 20 games, haven't we all said, man, if they only had one big-time receiver. Now they don't have Najee Harris. Backups playing backups on the O-line against the Denver pass rush that is as gnarly as any in the league. I mean, they were on a short week. They fumbled the opening kickoff in the third. Man, if you don't get the Justin Herbert thing, I can't help you. There are some things you just got to be able to see before he hoists a trophy. You got to understand how great that is. I mean, I keep saying it. The size of the quarterback matters. Did you see how many times Justin Herbert got hit yesterday? 14 times. The most in 2 decades for a Charger quarterback. I mean, I'm telling you, for years they've always had the coolest NFL uniforms. Now they got the coolest quarterback and the coolest coach. Unbelievable. A game almost everybody else in the league would have lost. So it's kind of the opposite with Kansas City. And because they were so dynamic offensively for years, you forget that Kansas City has been winning despite their offense. In fact, Cam Skattebo was the most entertaining offensive player on the field last night by a long shot. So there's no doubt that Kansas City's offense should get slightly better when Xavier Worthy returns. And it should get slightly better when Rashee Rice returns. But they played together last year for 3 or 4 games, and they weren't great then. So the Chiefs' offense feels a lot like an old pitcher that's lost about 5 miles an hour off his fastball. 3 straight seasons where the offense has regressed. Right now, the offense is below the New York Jets. I'm not joking. So I'm not going to get into talking about the Giants. They're not worth the airtime. But you got to trust your eyes on this. You start looking at this offense, and here's my concern if I'm a Chiefs fan. Because the time of possession for Kansas City's offense is 22nd. Well, that means your defense is on the field. And the longer your defense is on the field, the more your defense gets banged up. So if they can get Worthy and Rashee Rice back here collectively in the next 3 weeks, maybe they can improve and get their time of possession to 14th or 15th or 13th in the league from near the bottom, because the more your defense is on the field, the more your defensive players are going to get banged up. The best thing going for the Chiefs right now is that Denver is finding ways to lose games they have a chance to win. But for the last 6 or 7 years, it's felt like the AFC had this trifecta at the top of Chiefs, Ravens, Bills. And right now it feels like Josh, Justin, and Lamar Jackson. That's what it feels like. So, and it's struggling with Andy Reid, the great play designer of my life. Can you imagine what this offense looks like without Mahomes and Andy Reid? It is a water pistol with these guys. I mean, they have one first-half touchdown, 22nd in time of possession. And, I mean, they have halves and quarters that are ugly. You could have exchanged uniforms in one of those quarters in the first half. Like, it is ugly to watch, and here's Andy Reid after.
That was important to take a step forward. The second quarter was hard to watch there. But the third and fourth quarter, I thought our guys really came together and played well. We had too many mistakes. One thing here, one thing there. Some of that can be that you're just trying too hard at times, and then some dumb things can happen. And so you've got to really stay on top of that.
I mean, so the last 3 seasons, Kansas City is 18th in scoring. So you can tell me the cavalry's coming. I know what I'm watching. So, and again, that's with Mahomes. That's with Travis Kelce. And that's with the great play designer of my life, Andy Reid. So they don't scare anybody. The roster overall is good. The great kicker, defense. But again, one of the things I always look at for defense, can you run the ball? What's your time of possession? Kansas City, it's no and not very good. Well, that means your defense is going to be on the field too long. And when that happens, they get injured because statistically defenses get hurt more than offense. It's harder to play defense than offense. So they need Rashee Rice and Worthy back. They have got to get to at least middle of the pack in time of possession. Because right now the Chargers are 3-0 in division, and they're not healthy, and they're still winning and looking a lot better. So Colin right, Colin wrong, top of next hour. It was a nutty day, but I will give J-Mac credit.